Okay, we're live now.
Right.
Okay, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you for joining us to the Global Brain Project Hangout. My name is Peter Liu, and David Russell is the founder of the Global Brain Project Weekly Meditations and the website, the Global Brain Project. And so we will be talking with David tonight about various subjects concerning the Global Brain Project and meditation. So we do this every Friday night, so thank you for joining us. And David, what's on your mind tonight?
Hi everybody. Hi Peter. Well, tonight I thought I'd talk about something that's very personal to me, and that is what meditation has actually done for me. Could you hold on just 1 second? What's that? It still says starting soon. Ingrid is not getting us.
Oh,
She's
really?
not picking up the broadcast.
Huh, it says broadcast is live.
Now it's here. Right, she's got it now.
Okay.
Okay. We'll do that again, shall we? Tonight
No, just go ahead.
I thought I'd talk about what meditation has actually done for me. That this is not what meditation is going to do for you. This relates entirely to me, and the benefits that I'm going to describe, some came dramatically, like revelations. Some came very, very slowly. They kind of crept up on me, and situations made me realize that I'd developed this quality. One of the main things that meditation has done for me, and indeed when you read the ancient spiritual texts, it talks about this. It's made me very detached. Excuse me. That doesn't mean to say I'm disengaged from life. I'm very, very engaged from life. Life is not engaged with me. Things happen in my life, events happen, as I quite often say, shit falls on me from a high place, and it just doesn't have any effect on me. My nervous system doesn't respond to it. It just rolls off me, and that is the detachment that I've developed. That is just one of the qualities that one does develop. There are so many others. I mean, when you first start to meditate, lots of people, not everyone once again, but lots of people find they have more energy. I never found I particularly had energy. I mean, people talk to me about exercise, and my first inclination is to lay down and get over it. Um, but creative energy, my creative energy has gone through the roof over the years. I am so creative now. I have ideas bouncing around inside my head. I have poems, bits of text. I mean, the letters, after every meditation, as you know, I write a thank you letter. I've written literally over 150 of these. I mean, we're up to event 146. We're just about to launch. But we did do events before that. We just didn't get the stuff together. But I've done over 150 of these letters. I just don't run out of ideas. I never know what I'm going to write about when I sit down. I just sit down and the words just drop out of my fingers. That level of creativity, I mean, it happens all the time. Last night I posted a poem, just popped into my head, and that level of creativity, very satisfying. It's very satisfying to possess that level of creativity, but it's much more satisfying to channel it into things like the Global Brain Project, for example, where I actually feel that the creativity is, how can I put this? The creativity is actually feeding the cosmos and sustaining itself through the cosmos. And I think the cosmos supports us in this tremendously. The cosmos loves what we're doing, in fact. Um, the meditation events are such an important thing. So, what have I talked about? I've talked about energy, creativity, um, relationships. Because, I mean, essentially what happens is, and you have to remember that I've been meditating for over 45 years. Um, this doesn't happen immediately, but what has happened is I no longer seem to have stress, and I no longer seem to develop stress. Things happen in my life. I could tell you stories, but things happen in my life that are really essentially things that would make anyone feel a bit physically have effects on the nervous system. You'd get that sort of sinking stomach feeling or the spinal shivers or whatever. Just don't touch me. They really don't touch me. And also, because I am unstressed, my relationships are much, much better. I get on very well with everybody. Um, I have no real problems in my life. And because I have no real problems in my life has no real problem with me. And that is really important. It's very important that not only are you comfortable with your life, but your life is comfortable with you. Your life has to be comfortable with you. Otherwise, you're going to jar against each other. If your life is comfortable with you, things go very, very smoothly. And indeed, for me, they do go very, very smoothly. So that's what meditation has done for me. Are there any questions, Peter?
Yeah, I think it's interesting what you're saying, particularly about your relationships. I would imagine that when your interactions with friends and even strangers, there's a different quality that happens because most people do bring a certain amount of stress or um, I don't know how you put it, extra background information into the mix, and it sounds like that your way of interacting and because of your relationship with yourself being stress free and free flowing, I would imagine that this has some sort of interesting relational effect with people you deal with.
Well, yes, I mean, I just get on well with everybody, essentially. I mean, I may have mentioned every day I wake up in the same extremely happy mood, and I stay that way all day. I don't change, I stay that way all day. Whatever happens, I stay that way. Um, I mean, occasionally things piss me off, but it takes a hell of a lot. I mean, bomb my house, I might get a bit pissed. But then I'm not Palestinian, so no one's likely to bomb my house. Uh, but you know, nothing actually touches me, and it's really important. I mean, this being free of stress is such a crucial thing for everybody in the world. I mean, eventually, it is stress that is going to bend you out of shape, either mentally or physically or both. You need to get rid of that stress. And it's not the superficial stress. It's that, the function of sleep is to relieve the stresses of the day. But you just don't get deep enough rest to relieve the really deep stresses. And the really deep stresses are the ones you brought into the world from previous incarnations. With meditation, you get rest that is 2.5 times deeper than the deepest sleep. And that level of rest does get you in touch with those very, very deep stresses. They're the stresses that you need to remove. Sleep will get rid of the other stresses, but the deep stresses are the ones that are going to be really harmful to you in later life because they don't stay, they're not just static, they grow. things, sort of events in your life feed those stresses, and eventually they kind of explode inside you as a cancer or as psychosis or just as unhappiness. And you know, the cosmos only wants one thing for you. For God's sake, it is to be happy. Please be happy. The cosmos wants you to be happy. It wants you to be fulfilled. It wants you to have love. And if you meditate, and through meditation you get rid of stress, love is what you have. That is the big effect that meditation has had on me. I have tremendous love. I mean, I have so much love. I mean, it's almost embarrassing to do. Well, it is embarrassing to talk about it. I have so much love. It bubbles in my chest. And I mean, thank God I've got Ingrid. I mean, if I didn't have Ingrid to express this love to, which I do all the time, all day, I would probably explode. I'd just explode in a glorious fanfare of brightly coloured bubbles, because that's how love comes, in brightly coloured bubbles. Okay, any other questions, Peter? Any questions from other people?
Yeah, let me check our page. I don't see any questions quite yet, but if you're watching, please do submit your questions. Actually, yeah, put it onto our page. I forgot to turn on the Q&A on the the YouTube. Yes. Okay. Um, what about when we meditate collectively? Um, I would think that, and I agree with you. My own experiences are, somewhat, like what you're describing. I definitely feel things pass through me more easily the longer I meditate.
Yeah.
The more I practice it, the less I'm given to a sort of push button response, and I let things be much more. And so when we meditate collectively, because I love meditating in groups,
Yes.
through the global meditation or physically with other people in the same room, there's just something else happens, and I do feel more and more that it's basically what you're saying. There's a lot of love that happens, and it's kind of indescribable, I think. And so our Global Brain Project is aimed towards amplifying our individual efforts, and I do feel that happens. Um, and can you describe for yourself the like, for instance, you've been leading the Global Brain Project weekly meditations for now 145 weeks in a row. Have you noticed a shift during these meditations from before you began them?
I've noticed that I have much better meditations collectively. I mean, you talked about what collective meditations actually do. Collective meditation is like us all humming in harmony. We're all just, I mean, when you hum, you can't be out of tune. If you hum in harmony, and we're all humming in harmony, and together, our harmonious hums make a very loud noise together. So far as what I feel has changed, I feel that, quite frankly, that the main benefits I feel or the main changes I feel have been gained through doing the meditation are mainly changes to me. I mean, it's had a big effect on me, on how I feel about things, on my positivity, on my attitudes. I wish it had had a bigger effect on the world, but there you go. One can't have everything. And I do think that it does have an effect on the world. These things are very, very subtle. and what we are doing, I mean, we are dealing with waveforms here, um, waveforms that have no substance. You can't see them, you can't hear them. They hum, but you can't hear them. They're just waveforms
Mm.
that vibrate at a particular frequency. You can't get more subtle than that. It's very difficult to see any effect that that level of subtlety would have on this very gross world. But who knows? One day we will. I mean, at the moment, I didn't want to really talk about this, but the world is in such a dreadful state. And it must be, well, you know, we passed. What happened was, as we headed towards the new age, we descended into a slough of despond, out of which we will rise. We will rise again, and it is said that we will notice a change in 2018. But what we're actually experiencing now is that slough of despond. And look at the world. What a dreadful state it's in. I mean, now more than ever, we need to meditate. We need to meditate every day, twice a day, every day. It's a dreadful situation the world is in. However, the world is a resilient thing, and we are the resilient neurons within it. And we'll go on, the world will go on. Some people in the Middle East won't go on for very long, and they have our deepest sympathy. But the world will go on, the world will survive, and eventually the people who have the consciousness must win. In the final analysis, light must consume darkness. I've used this analogy before, but as I've said, you only need the light of one candle to cut through darkness. You need total darkness to cut through light. So, you know, I'm burning my candle, and there are tons of other people burning their candles. Together, we're going to produce a lot of light. It's just going to take a while for us to see that light. How's that, Peter?
Yes, beautiful. Um, the
I think we've just about run out for tonight, don't you?
I think so. Yeah. Um, well, that's the beautiful thing. You've just the image that you just gave, David. Um, the light and the candle, the light, the single light that overcomes the darkness, and I find it to be very true. And
It's very inspiring, isn't it?
it is totally inspiring, and that really gives anybody who may feel like they are the only one, but your light is changing everything for your
Absolutely.
circumstances around you, for those around you, and the light carries through to other people as well. So I hope everybody will join us tomorrow for our weekly meditation. It begins at 6 p.m. 6 a.m. I'm sorry, New York time, 11 a.m. UK, and the second one is at 12:30 U.S. time, New York time, and 5:30 UK time.
Brilliant. Yes, do
You
please join us. I
have a
can.
question here.
Oh, really?
Yes, Teresa Young Coles says maybe some quick pointers on keeping on point during meditations for peace, stating an internal attention, and just a bit for people with ADD.
Right.
So I guess how to maintain your focus for
In,
peace.
in fact, you don't need to maintain a focus. As I've said before, intention is 80% of the name of the game here. what you do is at the start of meditation, you intend it to be.
Sorry.
Right, okay. Yes, you intend it to be for world peace, and that makes it for world peace. You don't need to stay focused. What you need to do is you need to practice your meditation gently, not concentrate on the mantra. Let thoughts come and go as they will, and your meditation, the whole of your meditation, is committed to the original intention. Intend it to be for world peace, and it is for world peace.
Fantastic. Yes, yes. I'm glad you reminded me of that, because we do tend to uh, uh, feel we need to put a lot of effort into this meditation, and it's a good reminder that no effort whatsoever is required.
Right, absolutely.
Yeah, simply do the meditation. That's it.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Okay, Peter, thank you very much for your time.
Great.
Thank you, everybody, for your time. I hope
Yes.
you got something from this.
Yes. Thank you very much, David, and thank you everybody for joining us. And please join us tomorrow, and the rest of
You do.
everybody around the globe. Okay. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Good night, David.
Good night, Peter.